So from my experience, I feel like the pros and cons, there's a lot. There's so many like little topics, right? I could grab, right? If I put pros and cons here, I can just start branching off and talk about so many. But really, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to win rate and risk to reward. The longer you hold the trade, the more open to risk that position going against you is going to be. That's why typically you see scalpers have a lot higher win rates, such as 60 to 70, maybe even an 80% win rate, but their risk reward suffers drastically. They can have a 1-to-1 or maybe even a negative risk reward ratio, right? But the win rate compensates for that. What I like about day trading versus swing trading, and again, this is just from my experience because I've tried all three, right? And I've tested multiple strategies, right? What I like about day trading is it's kind of almost an even balance, right? The win rate does take a hit, right? So, some day traders could win 50 to maybe 65% of the time. Again, it really depends on that trader's methodology, right? But the risk reward ratio significantly compensates, right? You're looking at maybe 1 to 1.5, 2, 3 times. I've even earlier on this year, I was hitting trades back to back on gold in my signal room, where we caught almost every single day 4 or 5 times our risk. And that was insane. That was back in January of this year. So to me, I personally don't care too much about, if the win rate takes a hit. I'd rather have the risk reward ratio compensate for that. And that's where I feel like swing trading, the swing traders have technically, from what I've seen, I don't know about Alex's personal trading and how he does, but their win rate takes a bigger hit significantly. But again, the risk reward ratio drastically compensates for the win rate. And then, the amount of trades you're taking as well, scalpers, they take a shit ton of trades. Personally, I wouldn't be able to do that, right? If I take one position and it wins, I'm good for the day, right? So, Alex probably takes one trade every 3 days. I take one trade every night. You know what I mean? So, there's lots of pros and cons. It's up to the individual to really kind of sit down, look at them, and really see what works best for them.
Okay, you hit every single point on that response. That was top notch. Okay, Alex, now the ball's in your court. What do you think? You're gonna have to beat that. What do you think is the benefit of swing trading versus intraday trading?
Well, there's definitely benefits, but there's definitely also cons as well. I mean, I want to say one of the biggest cons, at least from like what I've seen from people's reactions to my style, is definitely the patience factor of it, because you definitely, like Raul said, like I personally aim for 2.5% a week, which is your 10% a month. So like you're not really gonna get a swing trade every single day. You can't catch 100, 150, 200 pips every single day. Like that's just not how the market works. Like my strategy or my style of trading is very simple. Like I don't have a course, something like that. I might come out with something like that later in the future, but it's just simply like I need all of the time frames to be in sync. I need the monthly to be bullish. I need the weekly to be bullish. I need the daily to be bullish. And then I'm entering on the 4-hour higher low. So if you have the monthly, weekly, and then daily bullish, and then the 4 hours bearish, you need to wait a day or 2 or 3, whatever the case is, for the 4 hour to give you that higher low, and then you just continue the trend with the full market. So I mean, the pro is that once you do get that 4 hour higher low, you just ride the full thing with the whole monthly, weekly, and then daily trend. So that is the pro, because once you're within that wave, you're basically doing nothing but entering at the next higher low, and it's just set and forget. The con would be basically waiting those 2, 3, 4, 5 days, whatever the case is, for the trade to make sense, and then waiting for it to hit your take profit. I've had many people in the learning as well that they enter the trade is 2, 3, 4, 5% in profit, and then they end up closing. And I'm like, why are you closing? You have all time frames in sync. It just simply makes no sense to close out the trade right now. You literally waited for all of this. Yeah. So, I mean, definitely pros when it comes to, once you get the hang of that patience part, you literally only find yourself taking trades that make sense. You completely eliminate everything. Your charts gets a lot cleaner, and then you're only riding the wave. There's no need to take that counter trend trade. Like scalpers, I know scalpers mainly only look at the 1 hour, 4 hour, but then they're probably shorting the 1 hour, 4 hour, but daily, weekly, monthly, they're all bullish. So they're kind of in a way counter trend trading if you're obviously looking at the bigger frames. But I personally like taking other trades in sync because it just makes sense and your trade has more of a high probability of going in your direction in that area. But when it comes to risk to reward, I can definitely have 3-4 like losing trades. That's fine. But when I enter those winning trades, literally one winning trade will get me out of all of those losers. If it takes a week, that's perfectly fine. You know, it's not an issue. But I've built over time that patience factor that I don't need to trade every single day. Like, just because, like, I always put this analogy, like some people laugh or like whatever the case is, but it's like, let's say that, like, because obviously we're riding the wave in the market. So let's say we were to be surfers, right? And then basically just because you're not surfing, that doesn't mean you're not a surfer. So people think just because they're not in a trade or they're not involved in the market, they feel like they're not trading or they're not worthy of being a trader, whatever the case is. If there's not enough wind out there in the ocean to give you that nice wave to ride you to the shore, you're just not gonna, it's not worth going out there to get wet. You get what I mean? Same thing in the market. If I don't see a potential of a trade setup that is going to give me that whole wave to hit my take profit, I'm just not going to put my money at risk. It just simply makes no sense. So I don't mind sitting on the shore waiting for that nice wave to present itself. So I mean, it definitely takes patience, but when you get that wave, it's a nice long ride, definitely.